everybody, welcome to another episode of First Impressions. Today I'm going to be looking at Let It Die, which is a free to play game. I'm going to go look at some of the things which I like, some of the things that I don't like, and give you my overall first impressions. So after you watch the opening sequences of Let It Die, you're told that the world you inhabit is in the throes of an apocalypse. So the main gameplay itself takes place in what's called the Tower of Barbs. Now the Tower of Barbs is a multi-floored tower which you have to fight and explore and work your way through to reach the top. Upon reaching the top, you're told that you'll reclaim a rare treasure and possible salvation. Your character has no backstory, you just choose a character, and then from there on your main objective is just to work your way up through the Tower of Barbs, unlocking its secrets and defeating the opponents rarely. So in Let It Die, there's no main character you control, there's only a number of characters called fighters. So the fighters arrive on a train and are all plugged into a grid with various tubes poking out of their body, and they resemble the humans from the films The Matrix before they emerge from a pod and wake up. There's a number of male and female presets, and if your fighter dies, you're given the option of either continuing with that same fighter, providing you're able to use the currency in game to do so, or you can choose another fighter and work your way up the Tower of Barbs again. So in Let It Die, there's a number of enemies that you'll face on each floor. The most common type of enemy you'll see are called grunts, so these are sort of zombie type enemies, mindless humanoid creatures which will just attack you mindlessly. There's enemies called tubers. Now the tubers are a sort of cyborg looking enemies, there's different types of them. And then you'll get haters. Now haters are basically the dead versions of your character and other people's as well who've died. So what happens in Let It Die, if your character falls in battle and you don't continue, you choose a new fighter, you work your way back up to the spot where your previous character fell, and they'll be reanimated as a mindless, violent character who's generally a bit tougher than the normal enemies. If you then fight them and kill them, the Grim Reaper character in the game, which is called Uncle Death, will reclaim their body so that you can reuse them again. Or if you ignore them, then they can potentially kill other human players who are in the same area, and you may get rewards from them defeating the other humans. So I'm going to talk about the gameplay now. So Let It Die is a free to play game, and it's done from a third person perspective, as you control your characters and you hack and slash and explore your way through each of the levels in the Tower of Barbs. There's RPG elements, as you can earn experience for each of your fighters and then spend that experience to improve each of their stats, making them stronger, live longer and so forth. There's a very Japanese vibe with the humour, which is silly in parts, almost gonzo, but it does blend quite well with the gameplay, and as you play through it, you kind of use, I feel it almost offsets the gory, violent nature of the game by having such slapstick humour dotted about here and there. The combat is quite fast, so you can use fists, melee weapons, projectiles, you can find power-ups, so you can use rage attacks, and also as you use each type of weapon, so if it's fists, different types of melee weapons, guns, you gain more experience in using those weapons, which makes your character more proficient and does do more damage when using those weapons as well. The gameplay reminds me a lot of Dead Rising, as you've got quite a bloody and gory game and environment combined with humour, and also you find weapons and armour blueprints which you can take back to your main hub at the bottom of the tower, and then you can exchange that for better gear. And there's also the opportunity to do quests and challenges which net you more experience and in-game currency. When recovering health in the actual game, you can eat mushrooms and small rodents called beasts, so rodents are things like the frogs or rats you'll find dotted about. So you can either eat them as soon as you find them, or you can store them for later. But some of the items and creatures will actually damage you, and so they're intended to actually be used against the enemies. The game doesn't always tell you, so sometimes there's a little element of trial and error where you might eat or consume something and it might damage you or outright kill you. When you're fighting in the game, you've got 3 slots for each hand, so you can equip 6 weapons potentially in total, and you can just swap between them just by pushing left or right on each D-pad. You can dodge enemies, block attacks, even run away. But also there's points where if you continue fighting without taking a rest or having a break, you'll see what looks like a heart in the centre of your character light up and get more and more violently colourful, and it starts to beat faster. When that happens, your character will become exhausted and they have to spend a few seconds to recover, If you enter that status in the middle of combat, can be quite dangerous at times. So you have to manage that, but it's not too difficult to take a break for a few seconds and then go back into the fray again. So if you die in combat in this game, you can continue from the spot by using an item called a death medal. If you don't have a death medal, or you choose not to, then you go back to the beginning of the tower, select a new fighter, and you work your way back through the tower again. Once you reach the area where your previous character died, you will have to find a mindless version of that character called a hater, and you also encounter the haters of other players who have also died in the same area. You can leave or ignore your hater, and the game tells you that if you do so, that will mean they can attack other players, but I found that when they lock onto you or become aware of your presence, they do pursue you quite relentlessly. So far I've not been able to ignore any of my own characters who've died. I've had to either kill them or been killed by them. Good thing about Let It Die is if you do use a new fighter, the experience you gain for using each different type of weapon, that carries over. So if you use a new character and they die, you don't have to start again learning the new weapon types with the new characters. It does all carry over between each fighter. The only thing that doesn't carry over is the experience of each fighter. That is unique to each character. But if you do reuse a fighter who's died previously and has been reclaimed, they'll retain all their previous stats. And also the money in game will carry over as well between all of the fighters. So the game has a main type of currency called kill medals and a rarer one called death medals. You earn the kill medals by defeating enemies, looting, exploring and completing quests and challenges, and you also use that to buy new equipment and gear, and also items called decals which boost the stats or where your character fights in some way. So the decals are a bit like accessories in a classic RPG in that you can equip them and it has different effects. To start with, you can only equip one decal, but the game does imply that as you go on you'll be able to equip more than one decal at any given time. You can also use the currency in the game called the kill medal currency to ride the elevator between floors. So provided you've conquered the floor, you can use the elevator to ride between them, and it saves you having to work your way up from the beginning again. And you can also use the currency to boost item storage. So to start with, your character can only carry a set amount of items at any given time, but provided you've got enough kill medals, you can then spend that to increase the capacity which your characters carry. Let It Die does a really good job of teaching you how to play throughout the game. So at the beginning it has a good tutorial which teaches you all the basics of combat and food and so forth, but as you work your way through the levels you'll find items that look a bit like a balloon with a smartphone attached to it. You go up to that and it's a tutorial or a hint or helpful advice, and you can review those at any point as they're stored in your in-game journal, which is called a Rolodex. The Rolodex also keeps a track of any quests and challenges, and also the gear that your character has and other information about the world. So the graphics in Let It Die have a cel-shaded quality which is reminiscent of games like Borderlands, especially on the character models. And the environments have a quite detailed look about them as well, so there's quite a lot of gore in areas, broken debris, but also when you're fighting you'll see quite a lot of blood splatter dotted about the screen. It's nicely done, especially for a game that's pegged as free to play, and I know myself I've played some titles which I've paid for full price and the graphics haven't been quite as good as what I can see here. Now I know graphics aren't everything, but it is a nice bonus that you've got a free to play game and it is presented quite nicely. Let It Die does have an element of online competitive play, so after defeating the first boss you can return to your hub, your start in level of the tower, and you can register for a team, which is usually the country you're playing from. Once you've done that you can then travel to another station and fight an NPC version of another player and defeat them. When you defeat them you can take the player back to your station and keep them in a cell as a hostage. There's a set number of cells that you have, and the game tells you that other people can do that to you and earn rewards by doing that to one another. So to sum up the likes and dislikes, what I did like was the sheer scale of weapons and equipment you can equip, and the gear that you can wear on your character. There's quite a lot of choice and customization options there. The gameplay and controls are very easy to pick up, the combat's not difficult to learn at all, and the gameplay is fun, especially fighting waves and hordes of enemies. There's quite a sense of achievement when you've managed to dispatch a whole group of enemies or a difficult character or a hater. And I was eager to replay the game as well. There's some games where you play and you do feel a bit lacklustre, but with this I did enjoy playing through the levels again. And there's a lot of RPG elements as well, which I do enjoy in my games. Now to talk about some of the things I disliked about the game. Now I did praise the combat, on the whole it's very good. The only thing it is a little fiddly is firing a gun weapon, so when you've got that equipped in a slot, if you want to quickly attack with a melee weapon in your other hand, you have to deselect your gun weapon or your character will try fire a gun, which in the middle of combat can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're being mobbed by enemies. When you first download Let It Die, the file size comes under just 50 gigabytes, so it's quite a large file. Also, I reached level 4 after defeating the first boss, and when I wanted to move to that next area, a message was displayed saying that the area is not ready yet. Now I'm not sure if that's because it's not been released yet or patched through by the creators of the game, but it did also say that there's parts of previous levels which are now accessible by defeating major enemies, so I need to go back and revisit that. There's a massive number of add-ons for this game, so at the moment there's 20. One of them's free if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, but the remaining 19 are paid for. And these basic add-ons will just give you either kill medals or even rarer death medals, which there's not very many of in the game at all. Now looking at the paid add-ons, they start from £4.99 all the way up to a whopping £109.99. You're paying 110 quid for an add-on. I know it's a ridiculous amount of money. But then again, this is a free-to-play game, so you do expect there's going to be some element of paid add-ons, DLCs. Now you can earn main currency in the game quite easily, but the rarer ones can be a bit of a grind. So it's a case of whether or not you want to be suckered in and buying that amount of paid add-ons. But 110 quid, is ridiculous, really. So to sum it all up, overall, I think this game's a really good game. You've got fast combat, a lot of gore, tons of customization options for weapons and gear for your characters, as well as the humour, and you've got gameplay which makes you want to replay, fight on and work your way through the levels. The only thing I would say is just don't be suckered in by the DLC. If you can resist the temptation, you're getting a free-to-play game that's presented quite well graphically and has fun, enjoyable gameplay. Well everybody, that's this episode of First Impressions over with, so I'd like to thank you all for watching. And if you're subscribed to my channel, that will ensure you never miss a new video as it's released. Once again, thanks for watching and take care of yourselves. See you later.